Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to sift through the noise and bring you some real clarity, maybe some actionable stuff too. Today, we're getting into a big one, sculpted abs. And, tackling that belly fat that just seems to hang around, we've got a really interesting source, Desvendando los secretos dos abdominales esculpidos. Basically unveiling the secrets of sculpted abs. And it gets right to it, like no messing around. It lays down this truth bomb. Without a calorie deficit, consistently, all the ab workouts in the world, they won't melt the fat by themselves.
Right. That's the baseline. Non-negotiable, as you said.
Exactly. But, and this is where it gets exciting, the source talks about synergy. Like when you get the right kind of training lined up with a decent diet, that's when things can apparently get, quote, explosive, a real transformation. So think about this for a second. You listening right now, ever felt like you're grinding it out at the gym, maybe doing endless crunches, but just not seeing that definition pop?
Common story.
Or maybe you live somewhere sunny, like California or Florida. Seems easy to be active, but consistency, still tough.
Yeah, environment helps, but it doesn't guarantee you routine.
And let's be real, how many Mondays were supposed to be the first start that kind of fizzled out?
We've all been there.
If any of that sounds familiar, then this deep dive should offer up some real gems for you.
It really should. And what strikes me about this source is that focus on integration. It's not just isolated bits, do this, eat that.
Right, not just a checklist.
Exactly. It's about how they weave together, those explosive results you mentioned. They come from understanding the why the calorie deficit matters, why this specific type of training works. So this dive is kind of a shortcut to grasping how it all connects. It addresses that frustration, putting in the work, but not seeing the payoff. We're going beyond just what to do to really get the why it works.
Absolutely. And that's where it gets practical. The source promises, and this caught my eye, 7 proven ab exercises so effective they feel like a trainer's secret.
Okay. Intriguing phrase. Secret.
Yeah. I mean, are they really secrets? Or just exercises we know? But I think the secret sauce, maybe, is in the how, the execution. These moves aren't just about making your core tired. They're meant to boost fat-burning, sculpt muscles, maybe ones you didn't even know were there. And the big principle, the one they keep coming back to with this cool analogy is, it's not about speed, it's controlled, intentional movement.
That analogy is key. The source says, imagine your abs working like a sculptor chiseling away at stone with precision, patience, and power.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's powerful, right? Because it's not just about looking sculpted, it's about the process. Real muscle development, like real sculpting, needs that focus, that deliberate effort, not just flailing around. For you listening, this means fewer injuries, sure, but also actually feeling the muscles work, making the exercise count. If you're just going through the motions, you're missing the point.
That sculptor idea really lands. Purpose in every single rep, being the architect, yeah. Okay, so with that sculptor mindset, let's get into these 7 exercises. What are they, and what's the source's take on doing them right? First one, the classic crunch. Source calls it the foundational movement of core training. Now, okay, a crunch seems basic, but foundational. How does this fit the sculptor idea? What's the common slip up here?
Great question. Because basic doesn't mean easy to do well. The quality is everything. The usual mistake, yanking your head forward, using momentum to kind of flop up.
Yeah, see that all the time.
Right. But the source emphasizes it's not about lifting high. It's about initiating by contracting the space between your ribs and hips. Think. Bringing your sternum towards your pelvis.
Oh, okay. Internal focus.
Exactly. A small, controlled C-shaped curl in your upper spine. That's what isolates the rectus abdominis, the six-pack muscles. It's like the sculptor's first careful line. Precise. No neck strain, just focused muscle work. Sets the stage.
That makes a huge difference. Initiate from the core, not the neck.
Got it.
Okay. Building on that foundation, next up is the plank. The source says it builds endurance and stability like nothing else. So stability. What does that really mean in this context? And how is this more than just holding still?
Crucial point. Stability, as the source frames it, isn't just about being static. It's about resisting movement. You don't want like your back sagging or rotating.
Anti-movement.
Precisely. The planks and isometric hold muscles work without changing length. The common fail. Hips dropping, shoulders creeping up to the ears.
Guilty as charged, probably.
We all need reminders. But the source pushes it further. It says, actively pull your belly button towards your spine. Imagine creating space there. And squeeze your glutes hard.
Okay, so actively engaging, not just holding.
Yes. That creates full body tension, locks everything in neutral. It transforms the plank from passive waiting to active sculpting. You're bracing your whole trunk like the sculptor, making sure their base is rock solid.
Love that. Active bracing. Feels like a full body job. Okay, next we move into rotation. Bicycle twists. Source says they're specifically to engage your obliques. What makes these work for the sides? How does the source suggest we do them effectively?
Well, the rotation itself is key. A lot of core work is just forward and back, right? But we twist all the time in daily life.
Sure.
The common mistake with bicycles is just flapping elbows towards knees. Zero core, all limb movement.
Right, just going through the motions.
Exactly. The source is insight. Focus on driving your shoulder towards the opposite hip. Think rib cage twisting, not just elbow flailing. Lower back stays stable. Legs move with purpose. Imagine the sculptor turning the, controlled rotation shapes the sides. This way you hit both internal and external obliques. Builds that strength, that definition.
Shoulder to hip, not elbow to knee. That's a big mental shift. Okay, what about leg raises? The source claims they fire up your lower abs. Now, you hear debates about lower abs. Can you clarify how these target that area based on the source, and what's the main thing to watch out for?
Yeah, that lower abs thing. It's tricky phrasing because the rectus abdominis is really one long muscle.
Right, I've heard that.
But leg raises do put more emphasis on the lower portion. Why? Because your legs act as a long lever and your hip flexors get involved. The absolute key, though, and the biggest mistake, is letting your lower back arch up. Big no-no. Potential strain.
Okay, how do you stop that?
The source is clear. Keep your lower back pressed firmly into the floor, glued down. How? By engaging that deep core muscle, the transverse abdominis, and this is crucial, only lower your legs as far as you can maintain that flat back.
So maybe not all the way down.
For most people, definitely not. Maybe 45 degrees, maybe less. It's about control, not range. Precision. The sculptor secures the base, right? Same idea. Protect the spine, maximize the targeted work, makes every single rep matter.
Control over range, got it. Protect the back. Okay, next is the reverse crunch. Purpose. Target deep core muscles. How is this different from the classic crunch or leg raises? What deep muscles are we hitting?
Thinking bigger picture, the reverse crunch is smart because it flicks the script. Instead of lifting your upper body, where neck strain happens, the movement starts from your pelvis. The mistake, just swinging your legs back using momentum. The source clarifies the goal is a pelvic tilt. You're actually lifting your hips slightly off the floor by pulling in with those deep lower abs, especially the transverse abdominis.
That internal weight belt muscle.
Exactly. The source describes it like that it wraps around you, providing stability from within. The reverse crunch teaches you to brace from the inside out, like a weightlifter cinching their belt but using your own muscles. It's like the sculptor refining the internal structure. Builds real core stability, helps posture. It's foundational in a different way than the classic crunch.
Pelvic tilt, not leg swing. That reframes it completely. Okay, two more. We need rotation and strength. So the Russian twist is on the list. We just talked about bicycle twist for obliques. How is this different, and what's the sculptor's technique here?
Good question. Bicycles integrate legs and rotation. Russian twists are more direct rotational work for the torso itself, often adding weight later on.
Makes sense.
The mistake is speed and momentum, just swinging the arms side to side, course checked out.
Yeah, it looks sloppy.
Totally. The source stresses control. Control the rotation and control the deceleration as you return to center. Think of that sculptor again, turning their piece on a stand. It's deliberate, not frantic. Rotate your whole torso, chest leads the way, feel the oblique squeeze, then control it back.
Control both ways, rotation and return.
Exactly. That builds real strength and power through movement in the obliques and other stabilizers. Enhances definition and functional twisting ability.
Control and deceleration. Key takeaway there. All right, final one. Mountain climbers. The source calls them the fat-burning cardio meets core finisher. How do they really manage to blend cardio and core? And what's the right form to get both benefits?
Well, what's fascinating is how they demand core stability while you're moving dynamically and getting your heart rate up. It's a great combo. The big pitfall, letting your hips bounce up and down like crazy, that kills the core engagement, makes it just kind of leg shuffling.
Right, loses the point.
Totally. The source emphasizes maintain a perfect plank position the whole time, like the sculptor's solid base, unmoving trunk.
So think dynamic plank.
Exactly. As you drive your knees towards your chest, your core has to work overtime to keep those hips stable, preventing them from lifting or dropping. It's a full-body, dynamic move. Gets the heart pumping, challenges core endurance and control simultaneously. Super efficient finisher. Tests your stability under fatigue. Multiple wins in one move.
Dynamic plank. That's the visual cue. Okay, wow. That whole set of 7 with those specific technique points, it really does feel like a complete blueprint. Simple concepts maybe, but the execution, that precision, makes them powerful, just like the source described. Foundational strength, dynamic stability, bit of cardio. It covers the bases.
And that leads us right into the next crucial bit, doesn't it? We have the knowledge now, these insights. But knowledge alone doesn't change anything, right? The source is really blunt about it. Knowledge alone won't change your body. How many times, listening out there, have you learned something cool? Felt motivated even.
Yeah.
But then waited for the perfect time to actually start doing it.
Uh-oh. Calling us out.
Well, the source does. It says straight up, the perfect time doesn't exist. It's today. No ambiguity. It's not just about the exercises themselves. It's about shifting the mindset. Action. Now.
So what does this actually mean for you listening? You've got these insights now. It means essentially you got to be your own fire starter.
Yep.
Our source encourages making these moves, done with that sculptor's precision, as routine as brushing your teeth, maybe not every day, but consistently. Integrate them, even just a few focused minutes. And when you commit like that, dedicate yourself. You will see a difference, not just physically, but in your strength, your discipline overall. This deep dive, really it's about handing you the tools, the refined techniques, and maybe a little nudge to actually build this journey. One rep, one focused rep at a time. So the question is, are you ready to take that first one? Like today? Okay, so wrapping up today's deep dive. We've hit some really key practical points, I think. We nailed down that whole calorie deficit thing. It's non-negotiable for fat loss, but it needs that precise training partner for those explosive results.
Right, the synergy.
Exactly. And we walked through those 7 exercises from the classic crunch, but done right, all the way to mountain climbers as that finisher. Each with a little tweak, a deeper insight from the source.
The sculptor's approach.
Yeah, that idea of controlled, intentional movement. Thinking like a sculptor. Precision, patience, power. Our whole goal here is always to help you get the solid info without feeling buried by it. Be well informed. And these specific tips from the source, hopefully, do just that.
And, connecting this to the bigger picture. Yes, we focused hard on the physical side today. Core strength, fat loss. But the source kind of subtly points to something broader. It's that underlying theme. The power of just starting. Of consistency. Taking action today, not waiting for some mythical perfect time. That applies everywhere, not just fitness.
That's a really good point.
So maybe here's a thought to chew on this week. If there's no perfect time to start working on your physical goals, what else in your life are you waiting for the perfect time for? Could be learning something new, starting a project, maybe even having a tricky conversation. What difference would it make if you just took that first small intentional rep today?